Hello YouTubers and fellow Whovians, and once again welcome to another Doctor Who action figure review. As you can see today, I shall be taking a quick look at the 4th Doctor in his duffel coat as seen from the classic 1975 story Genesis of the Daleks. As you can see, he also comes with the coloured mutant. I got this figure loose, as this figure was originally released as part of a set that came out in 2011, which was simply known as the Genesis of the Daleks set. That set came with the Michael Wisher Davros, along with 2 Daleks, based off the appearances from that story, along with this figure. And at first I just got the Davros loose, and then I just thought, oh, I'll get this. Now, there are a few inconsistencies with this figure, but first of all, we will take a look at the usual articulation. The head can do movement and can't really do a 360. The head is not removable either, so don't try removing it. So yeah, it's not removable like previous figures in this range. The biceps do have articulation, and there is articulation at the elbows that go in and out. There is 360 at the wrists. The knees can bend, and the thigh areas can bend, and the legs can move up and down. There's no articulation at the feet, and the waist can do a little bit, but not much, because it's hindered by this duffel coat. And that's pretty much all the articulation that you can expect. Again, they've brought out the same scarf that was apparent with the first release of the 4th Doctor in his season 12 outfit, which was released way back in 2008, and it's made of this rubber PCV material, and it's just painted nicely on both sides. Again, it's more or less the same detail on previous scarf with previous figures, so you kind of know what you're expecting. And now if we just take a look at the detail of the figure, first of all, looking at the head, you can see that for some reason they've added grey speckles to his hair. Now, bearing in mind, Genesis of the Daleks was only Tom Baker's 4th story, so, you know, he only just became Doctor, and, you know, he was quite young when he started, and by the end, he was starting to get grey. It was around season 16, 17, he started getting grey, and then season 18, you could really see the difference. But why has he got grey hairs in this figure? I think the reason is because this figure came out around the same time as the Destiny of the Daleks set. Now, Destiny of the Daleks takes place, it came out a few years after this story, and by then Tom Baker started getting older. It was towards the end of that era, and I think what's happened is they just basically made this figure, and I think there was kind of a botch up, and they just ended up using the exact same head. I believe that this is like the same head that was used on the original 4th Doctor, the solemn-headed version, but we don't have the exact same detail. I think the paint apps are a little bit different, but it's still alright. It still looks like Tom Baker. I just think that they kind of messed up with the grey hairs that have been added to this. But I don't think it's that bad. They could have messed up even further, in my opinion. But there's another thing they messed up on, and that is the cravat. Now, as you can see, he's wearing a red cravat, and he never ever wore a red cravat. All they needed to do with this figure basically was just use the season 12 version of the 4th Doctor and just retool it all, because the season 12 version, as I will show you in a minute, has the green cravat, and all they needed to do was just retool it, add the duffel coat on top of it, because that is essentially what this is, because underneath what he wore in the actual programme, he wore just his usual clothes, what he wore in his first season. And, you know, if you take a look underneath, they have sculpted what would have been his jacket underneath. It's just been added to the duffel coat. But putting all that aside, I think the detail on the duffel coat itself is very nice. You've got all the creases in there. Makes it look like he's been walking about in it on the ruins of Skaro and everything like that. And I think it's very nicely detailed. You've got that sort of dark brown wash, and I really do like it. I think it works very well, and I think it just about matches what you see on screen. It's just a pity that they messed up with the cravat here. The trousers they're just more or less the same as the trousers what we've seen again on previous Fourth Doctor action figures, and the same goes for the shoes. So overall, not a bad figure, even though there are quite a few inaccuracies with this. I think it's alright, it's not terrible. And I just saw it loose on Amazon. I just thought, yeah, just get it. Then I can say I've got every version of Tom Baker out there. Now, before I end this review, we'll just take a look at the Carla Mutant. And again, you can recreate the scene, that iconic scene at the end of episode 5, that cliffhanger when the Carla Mutant wraps itself around Tom Baker's neck. And all it is, it's just like a blob, really. There's not really that much detail. So yeah, got all these different colours here, and yeah. So there, basically, this is the Dalek mutant before it went into the shell, and this is part of Davros's experiments. So yeah, there's not much to talk about here. It's more of an accessory than a figure, and I just display it next to him like that. So yeah, not much to talk about in terms of the Carla Mutant. I suppose it's just a little bonus with this figure, and it's different because we've not got a sonic screwdriver that is being included with this. We've just got the Fourth Doctor and the Carla Mutant, which is a change because we've got plenty of sonic screwdrivers by now. And here is what I mean. Basically, we have here the normal Season 12 Fourth Doctor that I've reviewed quite a while back now, and this figure is just right. It's absolutely fantastic. This is one of the best figures that Character Options have ever made, and you can see that there's some inaccuracies here. As you can see, he has the checkered shirt underneath and the little waistcoat there, and the cardigan, but here he's wearing a different one. He's wearing a different shirt. I think they've kind of messed up and they've ended up going with like the Pyramids of Mars version, but Pyramids of Mars takes place later on in season 13, and by then he started wearing different clothes. So yeah, I don't know what Character Options were thinking. They've done some retooling. They've tried to do the research because they added the cravat, and I think they've done the hard part of adding the cravat, but it's the wrong colour cravat. The colour of the cravat should be this colour and not this colour, because this colour here is more or less the same colour as the necktie, what you see in the Pyramids of Mars version of Tom Baker. So yeah, I don't know what they've done here. I think they kind of messed up. All they needed to do was just use this. They could have just easily used this figure as the base and then just retooled it. And as you can see, the hair, as I said, is different. It's slightly different. The paint applications are different on these, and I don't know which one I prefer, because I really do like the head sculpt on this, but the head sculpt on this isn't that bad. You can tell the differences in real life, believe me, but here you just have like little grey specks, whereas here it's just completely black, and that for me is more accurate than this, because this looks more like a season 17 Tom Baker than a season 12 version. So yeah, all that aside, It's decent. If you want to pick it up, it's out there, loose on Amazon. Then again, you can always pick it up in the Genesis of the Daleks set if you haven't got that, because that includes Davros, Michael Vischer Davros, which some say is the definitive Davros. So it's up to you, really. Thank you very much for watching this action figure review of the duffel-coated version of the 4th Doctor, alongside the Carla Mutant from Genesis of the Daleks. I hope you're having a great day, and I shall see you next time for more action figure reviews by me, the Obsesstuvian 95.